Not many people remember, but the Bible actually contains two creation stories. According to the first, the plants and animals were created before man, while according to the second, man was created before the plants and animals. The animals were created because man needed help against him. How can both stories be true? And this is one of the strongest arguments against biblical criticism: everything is written in the same Bible. There is no room for such a simple and blatant mistake in a text that is so well-structured and knowledgeable. We must add that the Bible itself was written and given by God at Mount Sinai to all the people of Israel. It's truly remarkable how the Egyptian creation story, written about 7,000 years ago, bears such striking similarities. It is impossible to claim that anything was hidden from the eyes of the writer, as the entire Bible is a cohesive masterpiece. Every word and every letter within it was written with great intention for the entire people. And for this reason, when you encounter a contradiction in the Bible, which is sometimes found in the very same chapter, if a modern reader notices a contradiction in the biblical text, the writers of the Bible see it too. We understand and believe that God did not make any mistakes in writing the Bible. Furthermore, even a human being would not make mistakes with such simple and apparent contradictions. Hence, we have proof that all the contradictions we see today were created only in later generations. In the past, the Bible was understandable and simple for every reader. Is there a contradiction between chapter 1 and chapter 2 in Genesis? What similarities can be found in the Egyptian creation story? The first chapter in Genesis describes the process of creation, while the second chapter provides detailed accounts of the actions taken during creation. Chapter 1 tells the story of the creation of the heavens and the earth, highlighting how the entire world was ultimately created for mankind. And the following chapters provide detailed accounts of the creation of man and his actions in the world. In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Now the earth was formless and empty, darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. Genesis 1 verses 1 to 2. In this story, God creates the world out of nothing, bringing order and organization to the existing chaos day after day. For 7 days, God created with His words and followed an orderly plan. He brought forth light, the sky, the land, the plants, the creatures of the sea, the mighty crocodiles, and the animals of the land and water. The story presents a gradual progression towards the climax, where it is only on the 6th day, when everything is ready, that God decides to create man. So God created mankind in His own image, in the image of God He created them, male and female He created them. Genesis 1 verse 27. This world was created for humanity to embrace its power and nurture everything within it. On the other hand, in the second story, it starts with the words. This is the account of the heavens and the earth when they were created, when the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. Genesis 2 verse 4. The previous creation, as if it did not happen, is described to us again as the creation of the world and man. However, this time, the order of operations is reversed. First and foremost, man was created alone. Only after him came the plants, and the animals, and this time a figure of the woman that is described as created from the man himself appears. This world was created with a less planned approach, relying on a lot of trial and error along the way. In this world, man is not the ruler but the keeper and worker in the Garden of Eden. The man in the second story is a kind of gardener, connected to the ground and created from the ground. We have already told two different stories, and now we face the Egyptian dilemma. One thing caught the eye: there are so many similarities between the biblical creation story and the Egyptian creation story. Egypt is one of the oldest countries in the world, with a rich history that spans approximately 7,000 years. The Egyptians had several stories describing the creation of the world. Days beyond count, the universe was flooded with water, black water with no beginning or end. Water extended in all directions, and this body of water was called none. The motif, which suggests that the universe was flooded with water before creation, is a recurring theme in many stories, including the Bible. For an infinite amount of time, the none was simply black water, devoid of any happenings or movements. If nothing moves and no events occur, then the concept of time does not exist. It is impossible to talk about what happened before or what happened after. Since the sun and the moon had not yet been created, it is evident that there was neither day nor night. And suddenly, everything changed. Suddenly, something stirred within none, and a mound of sand emerged from the water. The Egyptians did not tell how this wonderful thing happened, but a bird stood on the tiny mound of sand. And the bird chirped, marking the first sound ever heard. The little bird was no ordinary bird, she was a goddess. From the waters of none came a god. In a beautiful display of divine creativity, God took the form of a bird, finding a place for its tiny legs on the mound of sand. But upon seeing God, who stands alone in a universe full of murky and dark waters, his heart became filled with profound sadness and a bitter sense of loneliness. Before jumping back into the water and drowning himself out of grief, the bird had a realization: he remembered that he was actually a god. In order to alleviate his loneliness, he created two gods, a son named Shu and a daughter named Tefnut, from his own body. Shu ascended to become the god of air, and thus, the very air we breathe was brought into existence. Tefnut was the goddess of water, although she was not specifically associated with the black waters of none, but the goddess of sweet and pure drinking water. The first thing Shu and Tefnut did was give birth to a son and a daughter, who were also gods. Their son was called Geb, the god of the earth, and their daughter, Nut, was the goddess of the sky. As expected, Geb and Nut, who were also gods that played a crucial role in the creation of the world, had children as well. The first was Osiris. Osiris held immense significance as one of the most important gods in Egyptian mythology. He brought order to the new world that arose after the days of the Hun. When humans were created, they were bestowed with laws and taught the secrets of cultivating the soil. And how can we distinguish between plants that are good for food and poisonous plants? Isis, the second daughter of Geb and Nut, was not only an important goddess but also a wise teacher. She imparted knowledge to humans on how to navigate and maintain harmonious family life. Additionally, she shared the secrets of medicine and the art of healing the sick. The third son was Seth. Seth, the wild god, typically resided in the desert and had a strong connection with the desert animals. It is important to note that Seth was jealous of his brother Osiris and tragically ended up killing him. This is the story of the creation of the world by ancient Egypt, as vividly placed 7,000 years ago. It's fascinating to know that all ancient nations have their own creation stories, but the one that closely resembles the biblical story is that of the Egyptians. From the remnants of this destruction, God created our present world, offering an explanation for the contradictions that exist throughout the years. We hope you learned something new today. If you did, give this video a like and share it with your friends. You can share with us what you know by leaving a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more informative and entertaining content. Thank you so much and see you next time.